We are back at it again here, the Torq YouTube channel. Just doing a bit of a recap on the brake install or mock-up that we were doing in the last video. I just got these guys down here on the ground to get you a better size comparison of what we're dealing with here. You know, decent size difference and quality difference obviously is much better. But yeah, today just wanted to show you guys I'm going to be just making the one brake line for the driver's side there, the custom one we had to do. Like I said on the last video, this is speed flow hose. It's 200 series Teflon liner with your steel brake fittings. We've got all the stuff there. I've got some other bits and pieces I need to add to the brake system later on, but just want to do a bit of a recap on what we were talking about on the last video, try and make it probably a little bit clearer as to what we've actually got going on here. So, like I said before, we've got the dump pipe here. This is a 4-inch dump pipe that comes off the back of the turbo there. And the reason I couldn't just use like the standard brake line is because right at ride height, like the brake line literally comes straight through here, and yeah, it just wasn't going to fit. And also I've had to cut some bits off the strut here as well. There's a fair bit of stuffing around to fit a 4-inch dump pipe through here, but it's really the only spot it can go because of all the steering and stuff. So that's why I'm making the brake line. I'm going to show you guys. I've got to modify this here, put a smaller hole in for the little bulkhead fitting as well that we're using. So there'll be a bulkhead fitting here, and then I did want to put another bulkhead there, just have a nice sort of join through the engine bay here, but I might even just put like the factory grommet and just run it through there just to eliminate one extra, you know, connection in the brake line. Obviously you don't want a million connections either, so we've got to be sort of realistic with what we're doing. I'm using all stainless brake line, and it'll be a 37-degree flare, like an AN flare, your standard AN JIC flare, which is 37 degrees. Your normal brake stuff is a 45-degree flare. It's usually a double flare as well, which is a little bit different. So I probably should have really, in reality, just used standard brake line, but I like to do things the hard way, and I've gone to the stainless line, which is just a single 37-degree flare. So anyway, I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to make this line, and yeah, and anything else that I think we need to see along the way. So yeah, stick with us. Okay, so we're going to build this brake line here. I'm just going to put one end on it initially, and then I'll take it back over to the car. I'm not going to give you a blow-by-blow on how to build an AN line. There are literally probably hundreds of videos on how to do it. But like I said before, 200 series speed flow hose. This one's got a Teflon line on it just for a bit of extra protection. If you are looking at building your own lines and you've never done it before, when you buy your speed flow, a lot of the times they will give you a catalogue, or if not, you can ask for one. We got all our stuff from Lost Racing in Perth. Really good to deal with. Always quick freight and all the rest of it. So yeah, I recommend using those guys if you are looking, if you're in WA. Also, you're going to want to get yourself a set of aluminium jaws. These are crucial, especially if you're doing aluminium fittings and you've got your nice anodized finish on there. You don't want to scratch it up by putting it in just in your normal steel vise. They'll look pretty crummy pretty quick, and the fittings are very expensive, so you don't want them looking like crap basically. So anyway, let's build this line and yeah, go from there. Don't forget to put this bad boy on before you put the olive in. Hot tip. Perfect. Ask me how I know. There you have it. successfully installed. Okay, so here's our little bulkhead fitting, and here's the bracket that we spoke about earlier, and as you can see, this is definitely not an ideal situation. We've all been there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just remove this top part of this bracket off. It's just got like 4 spot welds on it, so I'm going to remove that, and I'll make a new plate with a smaller hole to suit this bulkhead, which then I can mount it there and get this bulkhead mounted up properly. Okay, so as you can see, I've removed the other plate that was on top of here to suit the standard brake line. So now let's go and cut a new square plate to reduce this hole down to 10mm for the bulkhead fitting, and then we can bring it over and tack it up, and then we can mount the bulkhead fitting after that. So here we have it, the finished little tab, I guess you call it, that I made. Very comprehensive, as you can see. Now this is going to be overlapping onto that the other bit of bracket on the car. So what we're going to do is we're going to use some of this stuff here. It's a weld through primer, so if you just have a bare metal in between 2 pieces, any bits of moisture and stuff get in there, and eventually it will start rusting and just making a mess. So just hot tip, if you're welding 2 bits of material together on top of each other, put some of this stuff on it and you won't have to worry about it ever again. So here is the finished product, or aiming for. We've got the bracket's got a four tacks on it holding it for now. We've installed both hose ends. I didn't bother about filming the other side. You know, it's very much a rinse and repeat sort of process. Pretty boring, straightforward. But I've just had it on the ground, checked the articulation and turning of the wheel, and it gets close to the wheel up here a little bit, but it's, you know, I think it's a satisfactory gap anyway that we can get used to, and it should do just fine. Obviously next up we've just got to do the hard line from under here and punch through into the engine bay there, but I'll do that on another video when I pull all the stuff out of the engine bay of this car and, you know, weld up all the holes and whatnot. And yeah, we can cover all the bending and new lines and stuff in that video, but that's where we're at on this anyway. So as you can see, imagine this once it's at ride height. We've got a good gap here now. It's hard to get the camera in here actually, but there's probably 80 millimeters gap there at least. But once this suspension comes up another probably 4 to 5 inches, this obviously gets closer at the same time. But yeah, we've still got about an inch gap or 3/4 of an inch to an inch gap at all times, which is satisfactory to me. Another thing I'll add is I'll get some heat shrink to seal up the ends of this heat sleeve as well, just to neaten it off. And yeah, that'll make it look a bit better. But yeah, also don't worry about these cringy wheels. They are literally there just holding the car off the ground at the moment. I hate them probably just as much as you do, but they're serving a purpose at this point, so we'll leave them there. Okay guys, that's going to wrap up the second episode on the mock-up of the Wilwood brakes on my VR Commodore. I hope I've done a decent job explaining what I'm up to and why I'm doing it with the clearance issues and whatnot with the dump pipe. Any further questions you might have about what you've seen on the video, just hit us up in the comments below. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have or explain anything more if you need to or whatnot. But anyway, thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.